excitement that I had thinking about adding a closer lasted 8 seconds. Because then Lazar was on the mound. And then I watched Lazar get crushed. I mean, creamed. Every single pitch, every hitter. Hit, 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 hit. I'll go 7 times. 7 hits nonstop. Oh, yeah, that's right. This team still pisses me off. So 8 seconds it lasted. Flaw on my end? Probably. But that's who I am. 215-592-9494. Let's talk about this, okay? Let's set the scene for you on what transpired over the last, 5 hours or so. You go to Chicago. You play the White Sox, who suck. 30 games under 500, level of trash. You lose game 1, and the excuse was you got in too late. You lose game 3 in blowout fashion, and the excuse was there was a weird rain delay. Let's stop making excuses. If you are supposed to be a serious team, you have to take advantage of playing a bad baseball team, especially when watching the Mets and the Padres. This is where you help gain an advantage. This is how you make up ground in a very competitive NL East. And it's not like it used to be, where in years past, all of you didn't want to win the division because you didn't want to lose any momentum heading into the playoffs, acting as if that wild card round was an automatic. Give me the damn division. I want to try and get a damn bye because I am not playing a 3-game series if I don't have to. I bet you the tone changed rather quickly this time around with all of you. But wow, I am so disappointed that this group no-showed. Lifeless offense, lackluster. Nick Castellanos out in right field, la-di-da-di-da. Okay. And the fact that I got to watch Taijuan Walker pitch again is insane. He should have been snipped how many starts ago? 20? 25 starts ago? This thing should have been in the trash. Yet he's still getting trotted out there. It's impossible. Anyway, that's me being angry at the actual baseball that happened because I'm not going to be blinded by the move that I like from Dave Dombrowski. I'm not going to be blinded of the reality of what went down on the diamond itself. That still matters. You just dropped the series to the Chicago White Sox. Here's another excuse. It's too quiet in that building. Shut up. Shut up. Too quiet. Show me some urgency. Make your own noise, huh? Create your own spark. Do what a winning team should do. Show up to play with a purpose. Play with your heart. And then you end up creating life based off of adrenaline, based off of momentum, based off of feeding off one another. But no, God forbid you actually string together an offensive day. So yes, I'm aggravated with the actual baseball. The trade was very good. The trade in a vacuum to acquire Duran was amazing. You gave up nothing. Mick Abel was always going to be utilized for a trade. He had no value last year, and now he's part of a big trade. But Mick Abel, you move on from those guys. Good for him to create a new story for him after the struggles. And then Tai, a 19-year-old catcher that some are crying over, please. You don't not make a trade for a bona fide 103-mile-per-hour stud who closes out legitimate games in Major League Baseball. Give me the ball in the 9 type of guy for a 19-year-old question mark who most likely isn't going to do a damn thing in this league. You'd be a horrendous president of baseball ops if you think you're not pulling the trigger on a deal like this for Taiit. Seriously. And the amount of crying actually makes me sick. Get your head out of your rear end and realize that this is what you do when you are trying to pursue a championship. And if your organization can't replenish a Taiit, then your organization sucks. You got years to replenish prospects. Every year there's a draft. Find a way to replenish. That's your job. I love what they did for that specific trade, but there must be more. I need something equivalent to what we just got in the bullpen in the lineup. It needs to reflect this energy. It needs to reflect this type of reaction. Yes, that's what is supposed to be done, Dave. I want to say that phrase tomorrow at 6 o'clock when I'm back on these airwaves. Nothing short of that. Dave spoke afterwards. He said he's done with the pen. So this is it. Duran, Robertson, at 40 years old, Kerkering, you can run Jose Alvarado into the ground in the back end of August. Strom, and whatever you want to do at Romano. Still shaky in my eyes. You got Luzardo, Painter. There's options too. Maybe we get someone who rides a high. But it makes me wonder. We're going to get to the phones here at 215-592-9494. It makes me wonder about the mentality. What John Middleton said recently, what Dave Dombrowski has been saying over the last few weeks, and then on these airwaves, WIP Morning Show with Joe DeCamera and John Ritchie, we heard from Jim Salisbury earlier today. And listen to what he said about the locker room and the idea of going after it at the deadline.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. The players that I talk to, they want to see a move made. Yeah, they want to see a move made. They'd like to see a bat come in. They'd like to see a big arm come in. They are watching this thing really closely, and there'll be some very disappointed veterans if there's not significant improvement made.
The veterans. The guys on the roster. Screams to me that the reason why this is happening isn't because of Dave Dombrowski. It isn't because of John Middleton. I wonder if it's because of the clubhouse. Now, we're getting the result that we need to get, but are we taking the proper steps to get there? Should it be, well, I guess I have to do this because I don't want Bryce Harper to be mad at me? Or should we actually have competent brains at the top of this organization that wants to do this, that feel that it's right to go after this? Something rubs me the wrong way about it because it's almost as if they don't actually want to make the splashes, and maybe they won't. Maybe this is it, and this is enough to excite some of the guys like Schwarber, some of the guys like Casty, some of the guys like JT. But because they don't feel it in their bone marrow, we won't see Suarez 2 come over from Arizona. But if Dave and Middleton wanted it, then it would be Suarez and Duran. And are you missing out? Because the front office doesn't align necessarily with the guys in the clubhouse. I'm speculating, but I don't think I'm going too far. 215-592-9494. That's the phone number. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Gary in Whitehall. What's up, Gary?
Yo, Brodes, how you been, man?
I've been good. Mad at the baseball team. Happy with the trade. Very conflicting emotions. Your thoughts on it all?
Well, besides the inmates running the asylum, here we go again with that. But you listened to that post-game conference with Topper?
Yeah, I heard it. What are you mad at? The fact that he fell asleep with Lazar, didn't want to go to Strom with lefties up, or the Romano with guys on base is maybe being an option down the road? What ticked you off the most? Because there's so much.
Just what he said. I mean, I don't know who the reporter was that asked me. He said, you didn't want to go to the Strom or Kirkring in that situation? And he goes, no. He goes, I wanted them for the 8th and the 9th. Are we delusional again? I mean, we're giving up batting practice to the freaking Chicago White Sox, with 7 consecutive hits. In the meantime, he's sitting on his hands and the guys in the bullpen are sitting on their butts. I mean, really? This is what we're going to do? I mean,
I know. I'm a Topper guy, but he punted this game. At one point, he's like, I don't really care what happens. Lazar's got to eat it, because anybody with a pulse would walk up and realize that Lazar's day is just not in. And if you really wanted to try and win this specific baseball game, you would have yanked him earlier, and you would have used Strom. So Rob Thompson missed the mark heavily in this one. And again, it kind of reflects exactly what the product was on the field. They just lost 2 out of 3 to the White Sox. That was such trash baseball. It's not even funny. And it's not going to get the reaction it probably deserves, because we are going to spin the narrative to what Dave Dombrowski did, and that deserves time. Don't get me wrong. But what the hell just happened in this game? It's crazy. You cannot lose to the Chicago White Sox 2 out of 3 when you're in the back stretch of the regular season fighting with the New York Mets for the division. It's nuts, Gary.
Exactly. I mean, you got Kirkring, who hasn't pitched since Sunday, and then on top of that, now let's talk about Duran. Bona fide closer, yet we have a non-bona fide closer manager.
Well, I don't think he's got a decision in this one. Gary, thank you so much. I don't think he has any sort of conflict here. He's the guy. He's the guy. There's no debating. There's no conversations. There's no, hey, it's lefty, we're putting Strom in the 9th instead. No. It's no, hey, the 8th inning, the strongest pocket of their lineup is up, so we're going to use him in the 8th instead, and then pray that the not. No. If that happens, then I will have a real serious discussion about Rob Thompson, who I have been defending very heavily for a while now, even though there are things that tick me off. I think full body of work, solid. Issues, sure. Screw-ups, yes. Most managers do. Big body, I like it with the full body of work. If we start playing games with this, then we need to have real discussions about Rob Thompson. Let's go to Amadeo. What's up, Amadeo?
How you doing, Hunter, tonight? I can sense that you're stretching between positive Brodes and negative Brodes, and you can't decide which one you want to go to for each discussion.
Yeah, I think that's fair. If you take it down one lane and it's strictly about the guys who performed today, then yeah, my face is turning red and purple and spit's flying everywhere. I'm going to have to wipe down this studio before I leave. And then if we think about Duran, I think that's a home run of a move. When you just look at the move for the move and the years of the 2.5 years that you have him for and how good he is and the prospects you gave up, I really think that was a home run. I just hope we get more than one home run trade. We need more because this team has a lot of flaws.
Yes, and this series against a very pathetic team showcased that. And the summary of this entire series, absolutely pathetic, embarrassing. You need way more bats in your lineup, and I really hope that Dave does go out there tomorrow and put his balls on the table like he did for this trade and go out there and get Gino Suarez. And hell, maybe he puts more. I don't think this is going to happen. Maybe he puts more balls down in the trade. He also gets Luis Robert. He brings him back to Philadelphia with the team. But like I said, I don't think that's happening. I think they're just going to get one bat probably. I'd love two bats. And I really hate, like you, I hate the people that are claiming about Taib. The dude's 18. He's not going to be here until 2050. It's just, Come on, man.
I know.
Stop complaining.
I know. It's crazy. You can't sit here, right, and scream from the mountaintops that Dave Dombrowski's asleep, everybody's making moves, the Mets are acquiring talent, this and that, and then the second you make a trade and put a 19-year-old kid in there, now all of a sudden it's stupid and it's embarrassing. And I saw people saying he was untouchable. Untouchable. Oh, my God, Amadeo, untouchable. How is this kid untouchable? You make me sick. You make me sick.
You want to know something that I heard as well, that I heard with this entire thing about Taiit? So one thing with catchers are probably the worst prospects that you could project. I've heard that Taiit probably isn't going to be a catcher if it even makes Major League Baseball. And then I heard someone said, oh, my God, you got another person that you're not going to be able to replace JT Realmuto with. Oh, you already traded Logan O'Hoppe, who Logan O'Hoppe is the most overrated player I've ever seen in my life. He's the worst defensive catcher in baseball, and he doesn't get on base. He doesn't hit for average, and he barely surfaces 20 home runs. But Phillies fans get all their panties in a bunch because he hits a home run every once in a while. Like, I take JT Realmuto every goddamn day of the week at that point. You're not going to see Taiit until he's like 25 probably. He's 18 in single A ball. Let's see what he does in other levels.
It's crazy. No, you perfectly said, Amadeo, and thank you for the call. I'm not losing sleep, and I'll never think about Taiit in my life. And truth be told, I never thought about him once prior to this. Not once. Not one time. That's crazy to me. Crazy. We can do the exercise. Tell me the prospects that have worked. Aaron Nola, who all of you hate, wrongfully. Bohm, who the franchise benched in the NLDS after making the All-Star game the same year and tried to trade in the following offseason, and Stott, who we all admit isn't good enough offensively. Tell me who hit. We will be here for a very long time. Now, that needs to change at some point. And I think that there are some players that have intrigue. But people talk about Aiden Miller as if he's the next Derek Jeter. Huh? You guys are delusional. I could understand buying hype in Andrew Painter. But guess what? There's reasons why Justin Crawford's not here. They're even questioning if the inability to lift the baseball in the air with the high average that he hits for is even sustainable at the major league level, and that's Justin Crawford. There's a reason why he's not here. There's something happening on why he's not here. They're doubting him even panning out. Yeah, Taiit. Oh, come on. 215-592-9494. We will continue rocking your calls as we roll into the 10 o'clock hour. This is where we are. The actual baseball team is disgusting. And they're ridiculously pissing me off, okay? I can't stand watching them on a day-to-day basis. The trade that Dave Dombrowski made, awesome. Do it again. It can't just be this, and it can't just be this, and then a couple of little additions here. It's got to be this multiplied by 2.5. That's what it's got to be. This feeling that we have now, multiply it by 2.5. That needs to be the feeling tomorrow at 6 o'clock when the deadline ends. No ifs, ands, or buts. Anything less than that is a failure. So it's a good start, but it's nowhere close to the finish. Your thoughts. 215-592-9494. It's Brodes, it's you, it's 94 WIP. Let's go to Carl in Maple Shade. Yo, Carl.
Brodes, thanks for bringing me in, buddy.
Of course. Thanks for calling.
Every time I call in, you know I call you the flamethrower.
I know. Yeah, I'm sort of like, I guess there's another one in town here, huh?
Well, I like to throw some flames myself right now.
Okay, hit me.
Even though I like the acquisition, it was good. The plate appearance from this team has got me to a point where I can't take it anymore. This first pitch, and I understand it, they might get a fastball. They're not connecting with this first pitch. They're going after these first pitches like it's the best pitch in the at-bat, but they're not connecting with it. And then they're down in the count, Broge, and it's got me livid.
I don't like their offensive identity at all. I think it's going to end up being their kryptonite by the end of the day. So I'm with you. Nothing's really changed. I mean, I don't care what certain numbers say in certain stats or whatever. When I watch this baseball team play, I feel I've been watching the same group with the same offense, with the same identity for the last 3 or 4 years. And look, it worked early on, and you rode the high, and it was great back in 2022. But there's a lot more of it failing than it succeeding, and I think there's a cap on the inconsistency of the offense. So the overall approach of we get super hot, but it comes with some super lows, it's just not sustainable. So I'm with you. I think it's the same crap that we've been watching, Carl, and I hope they can go get a Suarez from Arizona. They can go do something that can maybe add a new brand in the mix, and that can give you a spark. It's all they can do at this point, but I don't think Dave's going to do it.
It seems like their batting approach, and I call it a box presence. What's wrong with taking one right down the middle of the plate? Start driving the pitch count up. So what? It's like a cardinal sin if you take one down the middle of the plate. I don't care. One strike's not an out. That don't give me a good at bat just because you took a strike down the middle of the plate, Brodes.
Well, I'll say this, Carl, and I appreciate the phone call. This is where I would say the first pitch swinging stuff pisses me off is when if it's right down the heart of the plate and Kyle Schwarber takes a hack at it or Nick Castellanos takes a hack at it. If it's a pitch right over the heart of the plate, that's okay with me. It's the off-speed pitch that's 8 feet in the dirt that he's swinging out of his shoes on that doesn't make any sense. So you get a pitch to drive in Major League Baseball, you're lucky to get one of those. If that's the first pitch and have at it, I can live with the result. Even though I'm aware of working the pitch count and having starters drive their pitch count up and all that. If you're a home run hitter and you get a fastball and it's right in your wheelhouse and you want to give it a rip, I can live with that because that's what makes you you. But I can't live with the curveball that hits the dirt 6 feet in front of the plate, yet you're still whacking at it? What the hell are you doing? It's crazy. So that's what I can't live with. But your overall frustration with the offense and how at times they look lackluster and they look terrible and they look awful and they don't score enough. Yeah, that's real. What, 2 runs today outside of that Brandon Marsh homer late? And really, I guess Bryce Harper got robbed of what could have been a 3-run blast. But this offense goes through way too many lulls. And what you need to do is bring something in here to try and help that out. Because one right-handed bat can lengthen a lot of things out. There's a big difference if Nick Castellanos and JT are batting 5th and 6th instead of 4th and 5th. It may not sound huge, but it is. If it's a right-handed pop that can get 36, 37, 38 homers to this point of the year, which means they're on pace for 40-something by the end, mid-40s. Well, hold on a second. You're telling me that doesn't add an incredible different layer to this group? Of course it does. I'm not telling you it's going to be perfect. There still may be some uncomfortable times, but you got to put the team in the best position possible to succeed. And if they don't do anything that moves the needle with a bat, then they're not putting this group in the best position to succeed. I'm not telling you making the trade automatically equals winning a championship, but your job is to put the team in the best position to maybe win a championship. And that's what they need to do. They need to get an impact bat. They need to get what they just did in the bullpen. It's the best way to phrase it. It's the best way to describe it. It's the truth on where they are. They need to get a Duran in the order. In your batting order. The feeling I get now, thinking about him on the bump closing out a game, I need that feeling with a hitter mindset by the end of tomorrow. That's what needs to be done. Then I can accept what they went after at the deadline. Let's go to Ben. You're on WIP. Hey, Ben.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. What's the weak point in their batting order right now? And how is adding a closer going to help any of that? Did they need a closer? Did they need a closer tonight?
Yeah, they did.
Night? Did they need a closer the night before?
Well, they need a closer, Ben. I mean, they need a closer.
Well, they have one. Maybe if he doesn't stick 8 HDHG.
Well, that happened.
Yeah, it does. But how many games have it really come down to the closer blowing a ball game?
To win a championship, they needed to get a guy like this if they wanted to win a championship.
Possibly, but would it?
I don't think it's possibly. They needed it, dude. Who was going to close out games in the playoffs if they didn't go make this move?
Well, if you're down by 7 runs, I don't think anybody's going to close out that ball game.
Well, they're not going to be down 7. Their offense is frustrating, but they're not down 7 runs every night. Your point is correct that their offense is very, very ridiculously poor and underwhelming, but it could be also that their bullpen stunk and they needed a lockdown closer. That's how flawed they were, Ben. I'm not saying you're wrong that their offense isn't a main priority here, but they had 2 main priorities because of how flawed they were. They needed a real closer and they need help hitting. So that's why I'm screaming that they can't be done.
Closer ain't going to make no hits for him.
Well, of course not, but it's still a part of the game that you need to solidify.
Once in a while.
No, not once in a while. Did you see 08? What was a big storyline in 08? What was a big storyline in 08? Never blowing a save, correct?
Never blowing a yeah.
Okay. You don't think that was important then?
The game was over by then.
Ben,
right.
Brad Lidge played a... Brad Lidge... So Brad Lidge had nothing to do with winning a World Series.
The other day.
Ben, Brad Lidge had nothing to do with winning a World Series?
Brad Lidge was the starting pitcher the first game of that season, don't you know?
Ben.
And he threw the first pitch and the last pitch that season.
Was Brad Lidge a crucial, important, very, very, very effective piece to winning a World Series, yes or no?
I'd say yes.
I'm done with you. 215-592-9494. You'd say yes? What are we doing here? If your stance is they need a bat more than a bullpen arm, have fun. Debate it all you want. Here's the objective view of this baseball team prior to making this move with the Minnesota Twins. They needed both badly. Every day it was, what do they need more? What? Both. It's not, well, if you had to choose. No. It's both, or you're not doing enough if you're Dave Dombrowski. It's really that simple. So we can't diminish the role of someone who shuts down the 9th inning in a playoff run. That I can't stand for. And at the same time, yeah, you want to point out the fact that they need to add layers to this offense. Yes, but it doesn't come with a knock on the importance of a Duran. That's ludicrous to me. You watch this bullpen and think to yourself that they don't hurt this team. They've hurt this team. They went out and got Romano, and he's not even a reliable option anymore. He pitches in 5th innings. You need to solidify that spot that you missed out on when signing Romano. And you must fill that hole that is Max Kepler out in left field. So that's why you need a bat, and that's why you need a bullpen arm. Because Dave Dombrowski miserably flopped in the offseason with both of his 2 major additions. So you needed both. But don't, maybe Brad Lidge had an important part of that team winning. Shame on you. You shouldn't be able to celebrate the 08 Phillies. Ever. If you feel that way about that team. That's crazy. Let's go to, let's see here. Let's go to Casimir. You're on WIP. Yo, Casimir.
What's going on there, Brodes? How you doing tonight,
I'm doing good. How are you?
You know what? I was pretty ticked off with losing the game, but you know what? I'm not going to let it get my spirits down, man. We got Jhoan Duran, baby!
All right. I haven't heard you happy in quite some time, so this is very new to me. And all right, so what do you think? What are you thinking about this in particular? And do you think Dave Dombrowski's done? And if he is done, are you still going to be as excited about this particular move?
So first things first, I am very excited about this move, obviously. Number 2, I do think we need to go out. I think it's true. Obviously we needed both. It doesn't make getting a bat any less more important. I'm not sure if you agree. We need a bat Brodes.
Yes.
We need a bat in this lineup.
I agree. I co-sign that. I think you lose points if you're Dave Dombrowski if we walk away tomorrow with just a little bat, like a little platoon bat in the outfield. No. If you're going to make a big swing like this for the bullpen, you must take a big swing with your order because they're just as flawed as one another. So you got to put assets into both and make this team pop more.
I'd be okay. You know what? And I don't even think it's really going to cost a whole lot. I really think Luis Robert. I think Luis Robert would be pretty good here in Philadelphia. Hitters ballpark, winning team, championship contender, good defender, and he's got Bryce Harper hitting in front of him. He's got Nick Castellanos hitting in back of him, JT Realmuto hitting in back of him. He'll come to the ballpark, I think, remotivated every single day. I think Luis Robert would be good. And here's the thing, I don't think he's going to be that expensive. He really shouldn't be very expensive to get.
That's
honestly.
the kicker, Casimir. That's the kicker there is the price. And thank you so much for the call. If the price is so low, then the risk it outweighs everything because of the type of ceiling he could potentially reach. There's a few things here, though. I wanted to stay away from the project guys, the O'Neal Cruz, the Luis Robert, where we got to rebuild them. I wanted to go after someone who's already performing at a high clip because there's something to be said about that energy coming into your clubhouse. If you go out and get Suarez, it's whoa. Dave Dombrowski got this dude who's a killer right now on fire, right? Compared to, all right, you got Luis Robert, but the asking price was so minimal. Okay, let's see if he can do something here. And another kicker for it is we just assume that he's batting in the middle of the order. And Casimir said that now. Yesterday when I was on the air, someone said that as well, that, oh, you can bat him clean up. And I'm going, we're throwing someone who was hitting 180 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and now all of a sudden he's hitting 205, and we're waving pom-poms like he's elite all of a sudden. Fourth in our order? I don't know. You got Luis Robert. I think you plug him in at 7. 4? He's hitting 205. 4? I don't know. I guess if the idea is if you're afraid of Bryce and you're afraid of Nick, which I don't know if people are afraid of Nick, you just throw balls and he'll swing at them. Is he sandwiched in between a spot where you challenge him? I don't know. But to assume that a 200 hitter who was hitting in 180s a couple weeks ago is going to slot in and win you a World Series batting cleanup with the snap of the fingers, that scares me because I feel that's more la-la land. Now, maybe I'm off base. Maybe coming to CBP every day and getting out of that, whatever you want to call it in Chicago, hell. You want to call it hell? Getting out of hell in Chicago and playing for a team. Maybe that can spark him. I did like some of the things that I saw from him individually over the last 3 games. He was clearly playing with some juice, knowing Dave Dombrowski was watching. So I'm feeling myself inching closer towards, if the price is right. But I don't know if I'm walking away with the Duran feeling. I'm walking away with the, all right, well, that's interesting, but I don't know what version I'm getting. It's still a question mark. I don't want a question mark. I want a known. I'm trying to win a World Series. Now, maybe that question mark is a calculated gamble where by the end of the season, it is a known because he just rips the cover off the ball and it worked out, and that's the risk you have to take. And again, if the price is so low, then of course it's worth it, and I'd be willing to give it a shot. If the price is so low, it would be stupid to not try. But there are some thoughts and concerns while going down that path that I can't shake at the same time. I'd rather it be a known instead of working its way into either a known or not, if you follow me. 215-592-9494. Coming up next, we will continue rocking your calls. Would love to hear your thoughts on where the Phillies stand after adding a closer and losing a series to the White Sox. Do not lose sight of that because that was terrible. It's Brodes, it's you, it's 94 WIP.